Sorry about this hustle bustle. I was just saying that you see, we are in the business environment where efficiency always counts. And poultry is such an industry where, as we have seen from Bangladesh also, that the producers are having less margins. And the sellers of the product, those who are having a last mile. And I do remember that the last mile in any business always makes more money for the people, those who are in the part of the business. For this, we always have a very, example in our life that when we fly from Delhi to, I am from Delhi, so when I fly from Delhi to Kolkata, maybe around 1,500 kilometer by distance, and I pay say 5,000 rupees for air ticket. But when I take a taxi from there to the hotel where I'm staying, I pay around 1,500 rupees for 10 kilometers. So what happened that in the last mile in any business in the whole world, there are business opportunities and profitability. And in our business of poultry, this topic which I'm going to share with you is a outcome of more than a decade research by one of my colleague, Dr. Heinrich, who is a German feed technologist cum nutritionist, who is a part of our team. And in the recent past, maybe around approximately 3 years, I am contributing and working with him because of the virtue of one of the fantastic raw material in terms of the protein which we have available is guar, which needs to be further explored and improved. So I'm going to present today this particular topic, which is very vital to understand that how this incremental innovation with less cost can improve the feed quality and ultimately the profitability. Hydrothermal refinement is very well known to most of the audience sitting in this room. So just to give you the synopsis that how my presentation will be based, it is divided in 4 sections. First, I will be talking about the technical refinements, methods which is known, which is obvious, and how we can do the refinement of grain, and then some of the feed stuff which is very rich in the fibers and how to improve their digestibility, and how you can mitigate the risk in the supply chain about the availability of the quality raw material, because we are in the agriculture, kind of an extension of the agriculture economy, wherein the produce comes from the supply chain is always not consistent in quality and supply. And finally, take home message, what to do. If you see that we all know that the grinding and the agglomeration which we do by pelletizing are the 2 known methods. And all these methods, the technique, the time for grinding, if you see the clearance between the sieve and the hammer, all these things are basically depending upon the type of the raw material which we are handling. Say, for example, the viscosity of the raw material. But we all know that all these processes have influence on the feed structure, on the passage of the feed, and finally, gastrointestinal tract environment, which leads to the assimilation and conversion into meat and bone. The most important point is if you see grinding and pelletizing. It depends how hygienically we are doing it, what is the technical behavior of the different raw material when we are doing this grinding and pelletizing. Toasting, which is a common method where we lower the anti-nutritional factors, say for example in soybean, say trypsin inhibitor. What is the impact of it on the digestibility? Extrusion and expansion, it lowers the anti-nutritional factors, it improves or maintains the digestibility, and we have seen the positive results in soybean and other legume kind of the family products. And the physical properties for better digestion in the GIT. The most important thing, there is an inherent ability of the intestine to do the fermentation. And whether this fermentation will lead to any improvement in the overall performance, this needs to be evaluated very cautiously. And with the extrusion and expansion, fermentability and the physical behavior in GIT can be modified. So now I will be talking to you with this backdrop about the technique which we call as opticon, and this is a combination of expansion and extrusion. It's a patented process which has evolved more than a decade research, and this was developed in a European country called Croatia, where it was done in a small form, so a broiler farm, and with different experiments were done continuously, and the process got evolved, which is called as opticon. What we do, we feed the various raw materials. If you see the raw materials, and they were exposed to various type of humidity, temperature, shear forces, high pressure, subject to the time according to the raw material, and outcome is the refined product with improved nutritional value. Now, if you see, the method of opticon is basically based on moist extrusion. And this is a small snapshot of this machine. So what we do is that this is not a standalone separate machine. This machine is, if you will have a separate independent machine, the payback period will never be feasible. And that's the reason that when we did the trial, we decided how incrementally in the assembly we add a small portion which is low in energy and high in output, and is ready to give the payback in the shortest possible time, considering the low prices of chicken. So this method is based on the moist extrusion, and basically what it does, it combines the best of both the worlds. One is the HTST, high temperature short time extrusion, and of expander. That is, we do only the product cooling, but there is no drying. I will further go ahead, you will see the details in the coming slides, that here the energy is transferred via the steam, some mechanical forces, and the pressure. And because of this, there is the expansion of the raw material. Means the surface of the raw material becomes more open for better digestion.